Hello and welcome to Whimsical Weirdos Pod. I'm your host Amanda, and today we're talking about Netflix's One Piece live-action adaptation, Episode 4, The Pirates Are Coming. We start off with Zoro waking up in that well that the Black Cat crew members threw him in, and can we at least give this guy some scratches or something? He is untouched from being thrown down a well. And the title screen for this one is actually Zoro themed. Buggy's was my favorite, but this one is now my number one. It looks so cool. I love the swords. We jump to Usopp and Kobe with the other Marines, and Helmeppo just doesn't believe Usopp because he, like the other Marines, believe that Kuro, the captain of the Black Cat crew, they believe that Kuro was killed by his dad, Axe Hand Morgan, but when Usopp mentions Luffy, Kobe gets more determined to figure out what's actually going on. We cut to Nami finding Luffy unconscious on the kitchen table from that fluorescent soup poison thing he drank, and she hides because she hears people coming, and it's Kuro and his two crew members, and she knows now that the soup is poisoned and that Zoro is in the well, and that they're gonna throw Luffy in there too. And see, Nami is the perfect character for the scene, because Luffy would have just been out talking to them, Zoro would have been trying to fight them. Nami is our perfect stealthy queen for gathering information, and also, I don't know if we already saw her in a bandana in the previous episodes, but I love it. Next scene is Kobe, the Marines, and Usopp arriving at the front door, and they're greeted by Kuro himself. And I can't believe they didn't have a bounty poster or some kind of photo of him. Helmeppo doesn't believe Usopp, and they're able to get their hands on unconscious Luffy. You know how the Naruto world has a bingo book? Shouldn't this world have something, even if this guy's supposed to be deceased? Shouldn't they have something to be oh yeah, this looks like him? But anyway, they have Luffy, but Kobe thinks something fishy's going on because Usopp's talking, and he's yes, Luffy's a pirate, but not like Kuro. They're different pirates, but he knows exactly what they're talking about, and he wants to investigate more, but Kuro stops him. We hear a bang from Nami knocking out that Black Cat crew bitch out with a frying pan, and Kobe's what's that? But Kuro, he locks the door on them, and it's come on, Kobe, don't take that. This is a Kobe moment. Again, the Marines, specifically Helmeppo, acts like everything is so cut and dry. Don't you think a super loud bang is odd? And doesn't Kuro just seem like he's creepy and hiding something anyway? Helmeppo has absolutely no spidey senses. We jump to Zoro, who's trying to get out of the super deep well, and we get a flashback of young Zoro losing to Kuina, I think is how you say it, in what looks like a swordsman's practice, and they're using bamboo swords. He's frustrated he can't beat her and challenges her to a real match with katanas, and Kuina is pretty fierce, and she's to beat me, you'll have to kill me, which is, that's a little too much, girl, you're 12, what do you mean? And then we jump to Usopp, and he's sneaking into Kaya's room, and my mans gets slapped. It was a good slap. It hurt my soul a little bit. I mean, can we really blame Kaya though? You're gonna sneak into her room so late, tell her all these unbelievable things after always telling her fake stories, and then grab her hand? Yeah, he's telling the truth, but saying Mary is dead and her caretaker is a pirate and super overwhelming, even if she does believe him, kind of thinking that this is a made-up story as usual is easier to believe. You guys know what I mean? It's just better for her mental health to just think he's lying. Anyway, Usopp is not leaving. He just sits in her room, and it pans and zooms into her face, and Kaya's face kind of cracked me up because she's looking this mofo is just gonna sit here all night. It's 2 a.m. Doesn't he have somewhere to be? I need my beauty sleep. Yeah. And the next scene was just crazy. The Black Cat crew locks down the entire house, and it's Guantanamo Bay or something. Kaya's parents built these security things to keep pirates out, but as Usopp says, now they're all locked in with them. At least Nami's with them, remember, our Steel Queen, and Kaya believes Usopp. Well, technically she believes Nami, and then she believes Usopp. Kaya also now knows that she is being poisoned to stay sick since Kuro's been at her place for 3 years, girl. And I'm so sorry, I know we're sticking to what everyone looks like in the anime, but that one crew member from the Black Cat crew, his pirate costume is a sheet around his neck. I saw him and I busted out laughing. The manga, maybe anime character probably looks like that, but in real life, it's really hilarious. It's giving Count Olaf. Anyway, they're escaping in the secret passageways in the house, but Kaya coughs and gets cut by Kuro. Also, I'm sure most of you know this, but if you don't, when people wear glasses in TV shows and movies and stuff, they pop the lenses off so there's no reflection. I don't know if that's all the time, but it's definitely what they did to Kuro's glasses here. We cut back to Zoro trying to get out of the well and get more of his flashback with Kuina, and they had their fight and he lost every single round. But Kuina was girls can beat boys, but women can't beat men. And And Zoro's like, what the fuck are you saying? You're my goal to be, and if we train together, one of us can be the greatest swordsman or swordswoman that ever lived. So we get his motivation for being a swordsman, and it kind of looks like Kuina's white sword is part of his current set. Back with Luffy, Kobe, and the Marines, I was right about the spidey senses. Kobe has it and Helmeppo doesn't. He said that Kuro gave him the creeps, and the best part of the scene is when Luffy vomits the poison soup all over Helmeppo. Back with Kaya and the gang, they start to unlock the house, and Slenderman is on their way to them. We're jumping scenes so fast, but now we're back with Zoro, and we learn that Kuina's actually dead. Well, technically gone, which, what the fuck, how? The sensei said she's been in an accident, so I watched the anime, and I knew this was coming, but I didn't make it too far, so I don't know anything besides this. I sincerely hope she's not dead. Like, maybe they just had a secret reason for lying and she appears back to fight Zoro to go and see who's the strongest. Like, is she really dead? Like, the first death that hurt so far. And Zoro takes the sword off of her shrine and we learn it's a rare blade. Kuina's sword is like her in spirit, and together they'll be the greatest swordsmen alive. And it's such a tragic story, but not me hoping that she's alive and they'll meet again and fight and come to a tie and live happily ever after. And I know, One Piece is not for romance, but let a girl live, people. Back to Kobe and Luffy. Luffy tells Kobe the entire story and Kobe wants to help him. Helmeppo tries to come up and stop Luffy, but then Zoro appears and just knocks him out with a single hit. I am loving the Helmeppo Zoro interactions, they're fantastic. And Kobe tries to make his authority known, but you know, at least he tried. That's growing confidence because he would never have tried that before with Luffy and Zoro. Now cut to Koro like just stabbing random areas to try and get Kaya. It seems like he didn't really enjoy being like a caretaker slash butler for 3 years, but like that was his plan. Like, why are you venting to her about it? That wasn't her plan, that was your plan, Captain. Luckily, Luffy and Zoro have infiltrated the house and Zoro's spidey senses are tingling and he goes after someone. And I like Zoro, but the actor who plays Zoro, this guy has the nicest skin ever. I need the makeup team to make him look like roughed up a bit. We need him to look disheveled. Like, are we really out here believing Zoro uses facial moisturizer? I mean, I'm sure guys care about skincare, but I don't think Zoro's one of them, you know? Back to Slenderman slashing everything. Kaya thinks she can take him on with a dagger, and Nami's like, I believe in you. We love a supportive friend, but let's be realistic here. But they do try to rush him, but his super speed like surprises them and they're literally in his claws. And here comes our savior, Slingshot Usopp. I mean, pretty good aim, like right between the fingers is so hard. Zoro and the other members of the Black Cat crew, they start fighting, and the guy with the pirate's costume is just hilarious. He just looks like a DIY cat pirate, like just like a kiddo would make. Luffy appears in the room with Kuro and Kaya, and he comes in, he saves everyone from Kuro with his stretchy arm, and we see how serious he gets when he's protecting his friends. Kuro starts ranting about how hard it is to be a pirate with bounties and crew members being expendable and stabbing you in the back. And then we cut back to Zoro's fight and the girl pirate, she freaking hisses at him like a cat. I can't. Quick story, I had to give my cat a bath because she did an oopsie poopsie and she hissed at me. End of story. Luffy talks about being a pirate for adventure and freedom and closes his eyes to listen for Kuro's movements, and his arm goes around a column and gets him. And back to the two Black Cat crew members, they took Kuina's sword and shoved it in a wall, and now Zoro is really mad. You should not have messed with the man's swords. I love that he gets it and sheaths it. He's like, you guys are not good enough for the 3 swords. I mean, obviously not, since he knocks them out. And then Luffy uses his Gum Gum Bell and knocks Kuro right out the window. And I love him because he gives a thumbs up after, like he's such a derp. Everyone regroups and Kaya gives them the ship they want and Luffy wins the bet against Nami. His smirk is so funny. He really was able to get a ship with no stealing. We see the majestic goat head ship and Luffy mentions it looks like Mary. Remember, like Kaya's caretaker slash finance person slash friend who died. Thanks for that reminder, Luffy. But he names the ship the Going Mary. And am I dumb? Because I remember in the anime, like, I think I remember, I thought Mary lived. I didn't think that he died, you know? But, you know, come for me if I'm wrong. That's such important lore, and I can't believe I don't know it. I'm still a fan, guys. Don't hate me. Luffy hugs Zoro and Nami, and they're all excited, and we see Usopp looking longingly at the ship. Luffy's like, what the fuck are you doing? Get your stuff. We need a sharpshooter. And Usopp's hesitating because he doesn't want to leave Kaya. Kaya's like, don't worry about me, boy. I need to try and be an independent woman. She also says she wants to try and become a doctor, and we love a girly with goals. She tells him she can't wait to hear about Captain Usopp's adventures, and while she plants one on him, Luffy's like, wait a sec, I'm the captain here. The scene with the Going Merry in the water is fantastic and just, I don't know, it just brings it all to life. Like, this is our home base now. We're just missing two things, but I'm sure they're coming up soon. And it's nice seeing each of our crew members just realizing this is their new home, and Luffy's excitement in having his ship and crew, like, this is his dream coming true. We cut to Kobe and Garp, and Kobe realizes that he unfortunately has made it easier for the Marines to capture Luffy and the crew. Kobe is loyal to Luffy, whether he realizes it or not. He's obviously feeling conflicted about having to capture him, and I can't believe that Kuro just slipped past all of them in his little dinghy. I was hoping that that was who Garp was looking at in the telescope. And back to our crew, Usopp comes up with his own Jolly Roger, which, remember, that's like the flag symbol, and it looks a little bit more like him than Luffy. They start arguing about who the captain is, and I'm sorry, Usopp, but this is one lie I cannot let slide. Captain Luffy for life, even though he jinxes them with the smooth sailing thing and Garp starts cannonballing them. Luffy calls Garp Grandpa, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't made it this far in the anime and my mind is blown. Like, what the fuck is this? Grand who? Grandpa? Grandpa, huh? I'm shocked, and I just don't even know. I'm speechless. Like, what a cliffhanger. I thought Garp hated pirates. Is this like a family drama thing? Like, you gonna cannonball your own grandson? Like, that's cold, G. Anyway, that was a great episode. Netflix is doing fantastic, probably because they have the actual creator Oda approving everything. I thought I knew what was coming up because I watched the anime, but I didn't watch it that far. But we're only on episode 4, and there's a plot line I didn't even know existed. This is crazy. And why is Garp trying to bring in his grandson? Okay, I'm gonna go prediction, since I truly did not even know they were related. I didn't know who Garp was. I just knew he was a character somewhere when I haven't seen it. So here are my predictions. I have a couple. I feel like maybe Garp is just messing with Luffy, like trying to be an obstacle to make him a better pirate. I don't know. That, or he wants to turn his grandson on the straight and narrow path. But I don't think so, because Luffy said grandpa in more of like a surprise voice than an uh-oh type of voice. Like, we didn't really get a negative, I don't want to see my grandpa type of vibe from him, you know? But I'm really, really excited to see the next episode. But let's talk about my favorite scene. And you know, I'm a comedy girl. This one is short, but I enjoyed after Kaya said she would give Luffy the ship. He just smirks at Nami because he won their bet and was like, that's right, I could just ask somebody for my ship. I didn't have to steal it. Her face was like, I can't believe he was able to do it. I thought it was a good, quick scene and showed their kind of brother-sister vibes. Sorry to all the Nami and Luffy shippers out there. Of course, the scene where Luffy tells Usopp to pack up is great as well. He didn't even ask, it was more of a duh, you're coming with me type of vibe. And let me know what your favorite scene was and what you thought about this episode. You can find me on Insta, Twitter /X, and even YouTube at Whimsical Weirdos Pod, or you can email me at whimsicalweirdospod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to stay weird!